Hope your day or night, if it's nighttime in your part of the world, is going well. I hadn't made a recorded video like this in a while, and I thought it was time. And as well, I have noticed recently that being able to go over given topics, while you don't want to get lost in your mind, where all you're thinking is thoughts, to quote someone like Alan Watts, at the same time, processing is important to a given degree. So for this one, I wrote it down this time, and I have 3 questions which I'm going to try to explore here briefly. The title of this is Stimuli Which Perpetuate Suffering. First question: why do you have pain? Why is it occurring? Is it new problems, past trauma? What exactly is going on? I think it's pretty important for us to be able to decipher what pain you have that is occurring, why, where does it originate from, etc. You could have something that's been plaguing you your whole life. You could have something that's brand new because of COVID, new job, or leaving of a job, which was your financial security. But I think the origin of the pain is important, because then you can start to decipher, am I suffering because of something which, I might be overthinking, or I might be analyzing the wrong cause? Or, on the other end, do you actually realize, no, I've had this event happen, whether past or something recently more present, not directly the present, because the present is right now, but close enough in the past that it was very close to the present, to where the pain is continual. So, understanding the origin feels like a good place to start. The second question is, what are solutions versus temporary remedies? I would see something of a temporary remedy as something which is meant to fix a given problem, but again, as in its name, it's for the temporary, not for the permanent or long term. So it's more short term. An example is if you have a headache and you want relief from it, you might go take some ibuprofen, which does help the headache to a certain degree, maybe, right? But it's like an immediate problem and a temporary solution. A better analogy might be, food or whatever else it might be, where you have an ongoing hunger because we eat to survive, right? But at that one particular moment, you go to eat to satisfy your hunger. Now, the one that's not more fun to talk about, whether it's narcotics, caffeine, alcohol, whatever it might be, sometimes those are done in order to satisfy momentary desires for whatever else it might be. Someone grabs a coffee because they say, I want to wake up in the morning and have some coffee that, provides, so you're more awake. And while I'm not knocking temporary, quote-unquote, remedies for, addressing the stuff we have coming up, having had a traumatic event in my life recently, I can now speak with a little bit of experience to say that, it's very obvious when, if you're being honest with yourself, when you're eating for sustenance or when you're eating for because of stress. Stress eating is a real thing. Or stress buying. I've done that this year at times with COVID. And it's not a judgment on myself or other people in a negative way, I would say. It's more of to try to figure out where you can make sustainable personal growth. Because we all fail. Solutions that go towards more permanence than the temporary remedy, would be trying to eat healthier, exercise more, give a little bit of time for yourself to process what you have going on, working on the breath. I would also say, I don't like the idea when we say a positive mindset, because it sounds very, very cliche at times. But I would say it's the notion that, like, at the very least, you sit in existence and you acknowledge all of the good and bad things going on in your life. And you just try to be the observer, if you want to quote followers or gurus of Buddhism and other, religions or spirituality that are deep into meditation. Not the stuff you often see on social media, but I'm talking about real meditation that allows you to make a permanent solution part of your daily routine or weekly, whatever you need it to be, where you just sit with existence, not in judgment of yourself, going back to the breath when you need it. And just being there. Because there are emergencies in life. There are other things which we think are emergencies and they're not. You can call that friend back later. You don't have to call them back in 5 minutes. And if they are truly your friend, they'll understand that you have things going on. Regular, sudden, whatever they might be. I'm trying to seek the more permanent solutions, or at least, maybe not permanent, but like the long-term solutions right now. Because I know that I, like anyone, when I give in to temporary remedies, it's the equivalent of you have a sinking ship and you're just throwing out water, paling it out, and the ocean keeps pouring in faster than you can dip the water out with your bucket or pour it out. The third question is how to observe and position the self for less suffering and some characteristics of a better life. One of the best examples I can give is the fact that I live in a city and traffic is a part of where I live because there's so many people in such a small area of like where roads go, right? When I came to acknowledge the fact that I needed to not be stressed about traffic because I choose to live where I do, and if I wanted less traffic because I was so upset about it, I'd have to move to another place, which is not a fun thing to acknowledge, but you have to weigh things. And so even though I get upset when people still cut me off or they don't use their blinker, Remember, the blinker is not for you. It's so other people know what you're doing on the road, so that you can give them time to react. But when I started using traffic as an example, it helped me process other observations as well. Noticing in the last month of my life that there's been days where I've dealt with pain I've been feeling well, and I realize this is already at about 11 minutes, so I'll try to wrap up here, and other days where I did not deal with it well. Because again, the temporary remedies I sought even perpetuated more pain and suffering. Overeating, as an example. If you can sit with yourself in observation and focus on your breath, write through things. Writing is great therapy. I'm a big fan. Make sure you have enough water and be hydrated. Sit in nature and let the presence of it help your nerves and your level of vibration come down, or stabilize, if you will, to a degree. The observation really helps because you learn that stimuli, whether it's outside or past trauma or new really gnarly challenges you're facing or whatever it is, it's like the idea of the captain who is on a ship and a storm is approaching, but the captain remains calm. Because the captain is aware that panic and giving into fear will not set themselves or their crew up for optimal success or optimal survival / outcomes. I'm trying to use the observation now to slow back down. I would recommend it. It's not fun because then you actually do have to acknowledge moments of emotions and feelings, grief, pain, the many sufferings you have in life, the things you have that are past, that are still going on, that are really difficult, rent, future, doctor visits. But the observation helps. It really does. And once more, it's sustainable to every part of you. Body, mind, soul, spirit, breath, mental health, mental clarity, and an ability to control your whole essence more and more, rather than have it be always reacting to causes and thus perpetuating your suffering. Once again, if I've ever said anything in this recording that you don't agree with, we should talk about it. Either way, be well. Always.